What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Total Swans TV. This could potentially be the last match preview of the season. It could be the next of two. It could be the last of three. Who knows? Fingers crossed. There's more previews to come. There's more watch-alongs and there's more reviews. That would mean that the Swans have then made it into the playoffs on the very, very last day of the season. It's going to take a miracle. I'm going to explain it and go through with it a little bit in the video. But this for now could be the potential last match preview of the season. So thank you very much to everybody throughout the season who's tuned in and watched any of my videos. We've hit our end of season target for the subscriber count. We've smashed 600 on the weekend. So I do appreciate everybody throughout the season who has taken the time to watch any of my videos and hit that like button or that subscribe button, guys. So thank you all very, very much. The next sort of milestone for me now is 750. Going to try and do that obviously before football resumes next season, and then obviously we'll try and smash that 1k mark. But thank you very much once again to everybody who has hit that subscribe button. So let's get into today's match preview. Wednesday night, the final game of the season, match day 46 for everybody in the championship. All comes down to this. The bottom of the table is still completely undecided. The second automatic promotion spot is still undecided, with Brentford and West Brom and Fulham still able to get into that final spot. As for the playoffs, there are technically still two spots up for grabs, with Forest currently sat in 5th and Cardiff currently sat in 6th, and the Swans just outside, 3 points behind and 1 goal difference worse off than Cardiff in 7th spot. So going into the last day, the last game, obviously Wednesday night, everything within the championship other than the champions being announced, which is obviously Leeds United, is still to play for. Wednesday is going to be an absolutely amazing, incredible, hopefully we can celebrate come the end of the game, and you know, it'd be a miracle if Steve Cooper and the team can pull this off. So up on screen now, I'm just going to put up a couple of the sort of scenarios which will obviously get Cardiff into the playoffs, which would get us into the playoffs, and then for both Welsh teams getting into the playoffs on the very last day, that would mean that Nottingham Forest would then drop down out of the playoff positions. So what Cardiff City need for a playoff spot? Cardiff will clinch a playoff place if they win or draw against Hull. All they need is 1 solitary point. Anything better than that, and they're in the playoffs. If Swansea fail to beat Reading, then Cardiff guarantee themselves a playoff spot. That also then guarantees Nottingham Forest a playoff spot. If Cardiff lose, Swansea win and secure a 5-goal swing against Forest in the process, and Nottingham Forest lose with a 4-goal swing against Forest in Cardiff's favour in the process. It's a little bit complicated. But there is the possibility, obviously, of Cardiff losing and still getting into that final playoff spot if we win. So that's just one of the scenarios for Cardiff to still get into the playoffs on the last day. What Swansea City need for a playoff spot: Swansea will finish in the top 6 if they win and Cardiff lose. One of the most simpler ones. If they win and Nottingham Forest lose with a 5-goal swing, so Forest would have to lose like 2-3-0. Or even 4-0, while Swansea then would need to win 3-0, 2-0, or 1-0, depending on how the scores would go. But there needs to be a 5-goal swing goal difference. A bit of a big ask, that one, but it is still the possibility. That is the reason why Forest can still slip out of that playoff position. For the final scenario, it's then what both teams would need for both the Welsh clubs to get into the playoffs on the last day. And for that to happen, Swansea would have to beat Reading and overturn a 5-goal deficit to Forest, who would have to lose to Stoke, an informed Stoke, may I add. In this situation, just 1 point for Cardiff would ensure both they and Swansea finish in the top 6. In this scenario, it could also happen if the Bluebirds lost to Hull, although they would have to overturn a 4-goal deficit with Forest in the process, which would mean Forest would have to lose very, very heavily in that game. So those are just a few of the, those are the scenarios, not a few. Those are the exact scenarios in which it would take for the Swans to get into the playoffs on the last day, and of course for both Welsh teams to get in. Could you imagine that? Because if they finished 5th and we finished 6th, or if we finished 5th and they finished 6th, that would mean then that they could possibly meet each other in the final at Wembley with no fans. Imagine that. Just imagine that. I mean, it could have happened the same year we got promoted after beating Reading. Cardiff bottled it against Reading in the semi-final. We went on and beat Forest twice with a fantastic Darren Prattley goal from halfway line and a beautiful Very, very rare gem from Leon Britton, straight past the goalkeeper into the far corner. We got to Wembley, we then beat Reading 4-2 in the final. What a fantastic day that was, and if you haven't checked it out, there's actually a video which I've sort of pieced together. I wasn't vlogging at the time, but the amount of videos and photos I took of the day, I pieced together a video. So if you want to relive that, go ahead. There's a Wembley video playoff final in the videos on my channel. I'll also link it down below. So go and check that out. Why not? So obviously we have beaten Reading many a times in the past. Their home form is not the best at the moment. I think they're sitting really low in the table on current home form throughout the season as well. The return of points since football has returned hasn't been fantastic. They've lost a handful of games, especially their last two. So they last time out they lost 4-3 against Blackburn. I believe that was on Saturday. Another absolute crazy game from the weekend. They also then just before that lost 2-1 to Middlesbrough. They then beat Charlton 1-0. They drew 0-0 with Huddersfield, and then they smashed Luton Town 5-0. And we obviously lost against Luton. So a couple of high-scoring games in there. They are goal scorers, but susceptible to concede at the back. So a 1-0 victory at the Liberty Stadium last time out for the Swans against Bristol City. Before that, at the City ground, it was a 2-2 draw against Forest. We then lost 1-0 against Leeds at the Liberty Stadium. We beat Birmingham up at St Andrews, and we beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. So we're on a bit of a much better run of form than Reading. So I do really fancy our chances in this game. As far as promotion and that sort of thing, by the playoffs or even getting into the playoffs, it's a massive, massive ask. It is completely out of our hands. As I said before the Bristol game, all I want from Steve Cooper's men is just to finish the season as strong as possible, and 6 points from the last two games is perfect. Just to go into the final game of the season, still with a shot of the playoff position, for me, it's an overachievement, but fully deserved. The way the team have bonded this season, a lot of youngsters, a few of the senior players leaving at the end of last season. A couple, Borja leaving in January, but then we brought in, a handful of young players as well, thanks to Cooper's contacts, and thankfully Brewster has paid off. Gallagher is putting in a good shift. He's not getting the goals, which he was at Charlton, but he is putting in a fantastic shift. So I'm, let's just say, really optimistic and confident, as I usually am, going into this game. Before I give you my actual score prediction and whatnot, I've invited Ben from the Reading Review onto the channel just to provide his thoughts on Reading season, what he thinks the way that the Swansea and Reading game will go, and then finally his score prediction for the game. So here's Ben.
Hi there, it is Ben from the Reading Review. Now, this season, I'm going to say, I'm actually a lot happier than I thought I was going to be. Looking like at the start of the season with Jose Gomez in charge that there was potential for another relegation battle, and after no wins in 6, he got the sack in October, and Bowen effectively signed himself as a new manager. He was our sporting director, made himself the manager pretty much. Came with a lot of hostility, but by December we were banging form, and looking like at one point our fans were believing that playoffs could be a potential. We could have a run maybe at the playoffs. So he had the fans believing for a while. And this great run of form from December, including wins away at Preston and Fulham, really had the fans on board with him. And he's really took advantage of it from there. And then he got his contract renewed, because he was only on for a season. He's got another 2 years on his contract in January. It was a strange decision to give him the contract so early, but given the away form he's been producing this season, it was quality. Where I think the problem has been this season for Reading has been in our home form. Just not been good enough really. This year in 2020, we've won once at home, which compared to before is horrendous. And if you look at the table based on just home games, we look in trouble with 20th out of all the teams, and it's been our away form this season that has carried us to get to 13th position. So, with all that said, players to watch out for Reading: John Swift, who could potentially be playing his last game for Reading after being heavily linked with a move to Sheffield United. So he could wear the captain's armband and produce a really good game as his final one in a Reading shirt. George Puskas, £8 million from the summer. He's scored like, what, 15 goals this season? And Yaku Mate, he is the informed striker of the league, and I expect him to score again this week. So if I had to make a score prediction for the game, I like to be optimistic with our score predictions, so I'm going to go a 1-1 draw. And yeah, let's hope Reading can maybe mess up another playoff contenders' hopes. Who knows? See you later.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ben, for contributing towards the video. Once again, I will leave Ben's, his YouTube channel and his Twitter down in the description. Thank you very much, mate, and all the best for next season. Fingers crossed Reading can have a good year, minus the games they play against the Swans. But yeah, so on to how I think the game is going to go. I really think this is going to be not a walk in the park, but I can see the sort of scenario playing out. We will win this game comfortably, but also Cardiff and Forest will pick up the points necessary for them both to finish in the playoffs. And we'll then miss out just on, I'd say, 3 points, or I hope we don't miss out on goal difference, because that would just be heartbreaking. But I also wouldn't want to miss out by a point. As long as we can finish the season strong, I'll be very, very pleased, regardless of what the scoreline is and how everybody else gets on. If we do sneak into that playoff spot, it's going to be absolute ructions on the live stream. I'm going to be on the motorway bridge, with the flags, welcoming those players back down the M4 from Reading. And there's talk of everyone getting up and getting down the Liberty Stadium on Friday or tonight or Wednesday night. If anybody's going to do that, obviously still be careful, social distance. If you're wearing gloves and your masks, if you're vulnerable, don't go out, don't be stupid. I may very well be down there if the strangest thing happens. But as far as the game goes, I think we will win it comfortably. I think it'll be about a 2 or 3-0 win, with the Swans dominating possession and probably having the majority of the chances. But there are goals in this Reading team. But as long as Mulder will put in a solid performance like he did against Bristol, as long as the defence are as sharp as they were against Bristol, I think that we will have a very good chance of winning this game. Forest, I think they'll probably pick up maximum points, and Cardiff against Hull, I think they'll comfortably beat Hull. It is all out of our hands. All we can do is win our final game. So fingers crossed we can do that. Guys, thank you very much, as I said at the start of the video, for everyone who has watched any of my content. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment down below what you think your score prediction is going to be for the Cardiff and Hull game, the Nottingham Forest game. I can't quite remember for some reason who they're playing, and obviously Swansea and Reading. But comment down below your predictions. I will obviously put all the fixtures down there, and get over to the live stream Wednesday night. If we take the lead early, it's gonna be absolute chaos. My nerves are going to be shot if it's 2-0 to us, 2-0 Forest are losing in the 80th minute, and all there needs to be is one more goal. My nerves are going to be shot. So once again, guys, thank you very much. Have a fantastic couple of days until then, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Come on, the Swans.